Sixth order, number 2, approval of minutes from June 14th. Motion by Mr. Fire, second by Mr. Rosendich. Comments, questions, corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Citizens' comments, they see staff, but no other citizens, so we'll go to construction. Construction update presented by Chris Hawley, Street Superintendent. Chris.
How about now? Perfect. We got a lot done since the last time we met. I just want to give you a little update on what's going on. Our asphalt rejuvenator contractor will be in. He actually come in on Sunday and start to put door hangers out and put postings on the roads on Sunday, and they will start that process on Monday, July 12th, and it should take them about 3 days to do that process. Asphalt mill and place projects are moving right along. Arlington, Lincoln to Cypress, Large Fifth to Adler, Adams up into McMillan, and Briarwood, Lincoln to Schmidt are completed. We have to do shouldering. We have to wait for the asphalt to cool down. Just to give you an example, the asphalt temperature was about 115 degrees today. And to put any type of equipment on it right now would just mar up the asphalt. And of course, we had about 1.5 inches of rain in about 20 minutes. I think it was last week. So we, of course, have to do touch-ups again. Third and Mulberry, ditching and tiling are completed, and the pulverizer is scheduled to come in on July 27th. Ash, Becker to Franklin, if you guys remember, that project had water replacement and laterals, and the gas company's been in there. Since then, we've gone in and graded that street, and it will just need final grading before asphalt is to be put down, and that is scheduled for the week of July 19th. Last week we had the milling machine in, and we milled off Harrison from Peach to the east to the cul-de-sac, and we also did the alley. That was a project, alley between Central and Maple and Arnold and Blodgett. That is also scheduled for pavement on the week of the 19th. Fourth, Columbus to the cul-de-sac area is scheduled to begin tomorrow or Thursday. Today, the guys did some miscellaneous culvert sets for some citizens, and at the end of the day, we kind of got about 1 inch of rain in about a half hour here. So that kind of shut them down about 4 o'clock. McMillan Street is moving right along. I don't know if you guys noticed, I know Quentin was wondering about advance notice for the public, so we did a little bit better job this time. We couldn't rent out the signs from Wood County because they were broke down, so we actually rented some from Rent to Flash and got them out a couple days early before the project, and now we took them down to see, just to see how the public is. It's been closed for a couple weeks now to see if we get any complaints on it, then we'll put them back up, but it was relatively cheap to rent those signs from Rent to Flash, so we decided to do that, and we've had them for about 2 weeks now. Other than that, things are moving right along. We're clicking things off the list here, and I just have one reminder. We had a lot of phone calls today about garbage pickup, and because the July 4th holiday was on Sunday, we didn't know this. We'll learn from this, but Advanced or now Waste Management actually worked on Monday. So the people who had garbage out thinking it was going to get picked up on Tuesday, like myself, they was actually picked up on their normal schedule. So for the people out there, if your garbage day is tomorrow, Wednesday, normally, they will be picking up tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Any questions for Chris? Mr. Rosendich.
If I remember right, last fall, thank you, by the way. Last fall, you said something about purchasing those signs?
Yeah, they haven't gone up on for sale yet. Wood County is they'll actually go back into circulation like the Wisconsin surplus, and we've been watching for those signs, yeah. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Chris. Next, we'll have Dan Connect, Director of Public Works. Dan.
Thank you. So Tom's out this week, so he did have a brief update in your packet. Just wanted to highlight a couple of things on there. Our sanitary sewer contract, which was bid earlier this year, notice to proceed has been issued for that project. We did get a schedule from the contractor. didn't quite meet the requirements of the contract, was stretched out a little bit too long, so we asked the contractor to come back with another try at it. We haven't received that schedule yet, so we haven't really started any work on that first contract. And the second contract that was, bids were just opened last week. We'll be talking about that a little later on the agenda for our city subdivision. And so those are the two updates on the engineering projects. So I'd take any questions if there's anything else.
Any questions for Dan? All right, thank you, Dan. Number 5, award bid for city subdivision, Daniel's Edition, presented by Dan Connect, Director of Public Works. Dan.
Okay, we were very pleased with the bid results that we got last Monday. We had 2 bidders, Earth Inc. out of Arpin and A1 Excavating, both bidders who have done work for us over the years. Earth Inc. was a low bid at $843,572. This was essentially right in line with where we were thinking it would be. We're a little uncertain with inflation starting to creep in certain sectors on what we would see here. But as I run through the numbers, and the bottom line is we're pleased with this bid and we'll be recommending award. So the base bid was the $843,000. Asphalt paving was not included in that bid, as that gets done as part of our citywide asphalt paving. The total cost of construction is estimated at, based on these bids, about $937,000. We've added 5% for construction phase engineering and another 5% for contingency. So we add all that up and we're just over $1,030,000. The estimate that Josh had put together at the start of this proposal was $1 million for those elements. So we're just a hair over what the target was. Josh had a breakdown that's going to the finance committee after this meeting to secure the funding through a budget resolution. And if there's any questions on how that breaks down, Josh is here to answer that. But for tonight, for the board action, we're recommending that the contract 2021-03, the city subdivision, be awarded to Earth Inc. of Arpin in the amount of $143,572 to authorize execution of that contract.
I have a motion by Mr. Fisher, second by Mr. Rosendich. Questions? All in favor then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, approve prelim resolution for city subdivision special assessments presented by Dan Connect, Director of Public Works. Dan.
Okay, thank you. As you may recall that the city subdivision, the lots that are created by this project will not have any special assessments. They will be sold for market price, the lots will. But there are 4 lots that are already developed that will be fronting on these new streets. 3 of those lots will have driveways that come out to this improved street. Those properties will be assessed for their driveway aprons only, not the street, curb and gutter, paving, that kind of thing, but only the private driveways. So there are three properties that would see special assessments from this project, and this preliminary resolution would initiate that special assessment process and would recommend your.
Motion by Mr. Byers, second by Mr. Fisher. Comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 7, approve consultant agreement with Barrientos and Associates for site evaluation for possible shared site with Street Division in Wood County Highway Department. Presented by Dan Connect, Director of Public Works. Dan.
Thank you. You recall back in May, I gave a brief update on our planning for the future site for the city garage. At that time, we hadn't really done much in the way of a site search or selection, but we had some discussion with the Wood County Highway Department staff about the future of their site here in Marshfield and the possibility of looking at a shared site. So at that time, the board gave direction to staff to secure this proposal from Barrientos to see what a study would look like if we were to evaluate a shared site and some of the benefits of sharing services with Wood County. So the proposal that's in your packet, is looking at 3 different levels of shared services, of a shared site. The first would be just distinct site areas for each agency. We're both on the same site, but Marshfield would have its area, Wood County would have its area. We might share some interaction, but essentially it's maintaining independent areas. The second would be share some yard and garage functions. So in other words, one building, but separate areas for Wood County, separate areas for the city, maybe sharing some other yard areas, fuel depot, those kind of things. So kind of a mid-level of integration. And the third level of integration would be looking at not only sharing space, but sharing building, but sharing space as far as shared break rooms, shared meeting rooms, shared truck repair, just whatever you could think of that would possibly share as we duplicate a lot of things. So that would be taking it to the one extreme of sharing in these spaces. And the consultant indicates that the higher the level of integration, the more likely the cost savings are for the agencies involved. Now, it does present operational challenges when you're sharing space with others, but we want to kind of sort through all that out and see what makes sense and maybe what doesn't study through this. So the cost for this proposal is just over $28,000, and the way that the space would break down based on how big of a fleet we'd be supporting through this would be about 25% by Wood County and 75% city cost share. So the city cost share would be about $21,000 for this study phase. The funding source for the city would be our internal service fund or 701 fund, which is machinery, equipment, and buildings enterprise fund. So with that, we're recommending that we move ahead with this proposal. I'd mentioned Alderman Fisher earlier that I had talked to a member of the Wood County Highway Committee this morning. They had met today and this was on their agenda, and they are all very interested in seeing where this study could take us and the possibilities of sharing some services and benefits to both agencies. So they are on board with that and recommended going ahead with it today. So we'd recommend moving ahead with this proposal. The timeline is 3 to 4 months once the consultant gets to go ahead, and then we'd be back here to do ideally a joint presentation with county folks and city folks in the same room and can begin talking about what the study indicates and what might be next steps after that. So
I have a motion by Mr. Fisher, second by Mr. Fire. Comments or questions? Mr. Fisher.
I guess this is more of a comment. Very supportive of this idea and this study, but and if I'm reading and understanding you correct, Dan, I understand that the percentage is based on the size of the fleet, correct? And so that's how we broke it down. Is that common in situations like this to base it on the fleet?
well,
Like, how did that come about, I guess?
The fleet size is a big driver in how big of a facility you need. So when we looked at, for instance, just the size of what kind of a building the city would need for our city street department operations, it was based on how many pieces of equipment we need to house and the operations revolving around the fleet. So that was how we chose to break it up here. There may be other ways. I suppose you could look at number of employees.
And that's fine. I just wanted to make sure the public and I, for that matter, understood how this was being broken down. I mean, obviously, I'd love for the county to pay some more, but it's fine.
Anybody else? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, recommended items for future agendas. Anybody have anything? Okay, motion to adjourn by Mr. Varsho, second by Mr. Rosendich. Thank you. We are adjourned.